The next 3 months have the potential to change your life. In this video, I'm going to show you why alt season is coming and how to position yourself in the best way. Okay, let's start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is looking very good. Currently, we are in a range 118k, looking very, very bullish. We could have a potential move towards 112, 110. This was previous supply, big zone. But unless we start closing below 110k, easily Bitcoin, I think, goes to 150 to 200k this year. And remember, I'm going to show in this video, alt season only comes in the last phase of the cycle. And as you can see, Ethereum is starting to outperform Bitcoin, which is the first signal for alts, then Solana, then other Bitcoins as well, and then full alt season. That tends to be how things occur. But if you look at Bitcoin chart, looking very, very good. I think the next month or so, we might target 130 to 150k. If you look at the Bitcoin power law, it shows a 200k potential price. And also, if you look at liquidity, we could have Bitcoin going to 150 to 200k. So if you look at this chart right here, as you can see, Bitcoin is a function of liquidity. So if Bitcoin, if liquidity is running high, Bitcoin is going to follow. Of course, there is a lag period, but as you can see, we could have a 150k Bitcoin, maybe even around October, November. I think at least 150 we are going to see on the charts, and I think from 130 to 200k potential, altcoins are going to do very, very well. This is one of the most important charts, Bitcoin dominance. So every single alt season we had occurred between September and December, and as you can see here, 2017 started, alt season started around November, in 2019 September, and 2020 around December. So the winter months tend to be strong for alts when we are in the bull run, which we are. And if you look at this chart, 66% might be the top for Bitcoin dominance. There is still the chance that we could reach 70 to 74, but I would say when I look at this chart on the monthly, this is a nasty candle. So if Bitcoin dominance starts to close below 60%, there is a good chance that we start to roll over from here, and we could even see 50 to 45% Bitcoin dominance. I think that entire move will create alt season. So in terms of Bitcoin dominance, is looking good. If we go on the weekly, as you can see, we are breaking out. We are below the 12 and 21 exponential moving averages. So yeah, looking good for alts. You want Bitcoin dominance to be weak for alts to run, and at the moment is very, very weak. We could have a move here, small one, maybe Bitcoin dominance could go to 63, 64, but after that, I think we're going to go to 55, 50, even 45%. So if we look for alts, the next 3 months, which I think is the last phase for Bitcoin, might be the months that change our life if we are positioned in the right altcoins. Another very, very important chart is USDT dominance. When USDT dominance is weak, crypto is strong because people basically are moving from USDT to crypto, Bitcoin, altcoins, everything. I think looking at this chart, we could have a bounce around here, which could put some pressure on Bitcoin. But overall, I think we're going to see USDT dominance going to 2%. We are still at 4%. I think the top for Bitcoin will be around 2% for USDT dominance. So we still have a long way to go. And also very, very important chart is Ethereum against Bitcoin. So Ethereum is looking very, very good. And the best thing about this is when you look at momentum indicator, this indicator right here, we are at the lows. So definitely I anticipate Ethereum being very strong. I spoke about this on my Discord for VIP members, that this is the best bottom for Ethereum. And as you can see, we came into this demand zone on the monthly. And since then, Ethereum has been really, really strong. So 3 very strong monthly candles, and I think we're going to continue. As you can see, we are not even at the mid of the range. I think we could even have a 90% move for Ethereum. And if we return to all-time highs, we are speaking about a 160% move. If that happens, you can imagine altcoins are going to follow. Remember, Ethereum is the biggest altcoin. So Ethereum is looking very, very good on the monthly, also on the weekly. We could have some resistance around 0.037, but overall looks very, very good. Also, if you look at the Ethereum chart, looks absolutely amazing. 4K is one of the biggest levels of resistance for Ethereum. Above this, and we could see Ethereum 5K, 6K easily, which will drive a lot of adoption also for altcoins, and people are going to get excited. So Ethereum looks good. That's very, very good for altcoins. Another very important chart is altcoins against Bitcoin. If you look at this chart, there is zero chances that the bull market is here. Zero chances for alts, because momentum indicator on the monthly is basically at the lows. Also, if you look at the chart, we are in the same level that we were in the bear market in 2020, the same demand zone. So definitely we still didn't see altcoins having their run. Yeah, we are seeing alts doing more or less well lately, but nothing compared to what I think we're going to see. So I think the next 3 months have the potential to change your life, and this chart shows that. Altcoins are at the low. So you don't have a top of the bull market when altcoins are at the low against Bitcoin. So definitely we are far from an alt season, but it's coming, and I think it will come in the next 3-4 months. At least historically, we only had alt seasons between September and December. That tended to be the strongest months for alts. So I think this time again, it will happen. The altcoins I'm looking, as you already know, Tau Tensor, I think this is the first one. Why? Decentralized AI. There is no competition for this one. You have the Tau halving in December, which will reduce massively the emissions. Miners will not be able to sell as much. More demand, less supply. So I think you have the conditions to have Tau doing a 10x in the next year. Remember when Bitcoin had the first halving, price exploded. I think Tau, in the same way, is going to explode starting end of this year, and next year I think will be awesome. Why? Subnets are not doing that well, but they have a lot of potential. It's the first 5-6 months of subnets. If they don't produce results, they're going to be kicked out. So I think in the next few months we're going to see subnets maturing, high quality, and halving will put a lot of pressure on them, which will be good. Unless they are really good, they will not survive, and I think that will produce amazing subnets. We already have some. Shoots, it's one of my favorites. But as you can see, even yesterday there was an announcement of Targan, another really good subnet on Tau. They raised 10 million, and one of those investors was the investor of a very big company, Shopify, I think. Yeah. So Tau looking good, and I think is going to continue that way. We are having a correction today. We are at a really good demand zone, Tau against Bitcoin. So between 400 and 350, I think for Tau is really a great level to accumulate. I'm not so sure if we're going to see these levels very long. Another project is Sui. This is my second biggest conviction. I'm mostly in Tau because the halving is amazing and because the staking rewards are absolutely insane. But Sui definitely also is a very good coin. So Sui, I think we come towards $3.50. I think it's a really good level to accumulate. When you look at Sui, very fast, very cheap, similar to Solana, but I think even better technology. So when you have Sui with a 10 times smaller market cap than Solana, I think it's a good risk reward. Remember, we need a fast, cheap layer one. I think Solana and Sui will definitely dominate. So Sui for me, around $3.50, similar to Tau with 350 is great level to accumulate. Another one I like is Hyperliquid. Is a decentralized exchange like Coinbase, Binance, but instead of being centralized, is decentralized. So I think Hyperliquid, massive liquidity, really good user experience. So for me also is one of the projects that will do very well. So these are the three coins, mostly focused on Tau and Sui. Tau being number one. Of course, Bitcoin is a good one to have, even if at the moment I would prefer to have Ethereum, looking at the chart of Ethereum, than Bitcoin. And of course, Solana, I think will do very well. Still the most used chain overall. Chart looks good. You want to be above 180. Above 180, I think if we continue a few days like this, I think the next 2-3 months we will see Solana going to all-time highs. So you have a million different coins. I think you have 4 or 5 coins that can really change your life. Tau being my number one conviction, but also with Sui, Hyper, Solana, I think you'll do very, very well in the bull market. Remember, these kind of dips are for buying, in my opinion, and I think in the next few months, you're gonna be really, really happy if you accumulated these great projects. So thank you very much, guys. If you liked this content, make sure you subscribe.